This might take a while.
While you're pouring the beer, we'll do the intro. Hello and welcome to the Drinky Talky thing. Again, lost complete. I don't know what number we're on. Don't care anymore. I'm DrunkenGamer. This is Gow, who is pouring his beer and really needs to speak now.
Hello.
That's better. And yeah, we're just going to talk shite again.
I was tempted just to say the same word over and over, like you got me as a soundbite. I don't really have a friend. Because you're not recording it now, so nobody knows.
Yeah, this could all be synthesised. I don't think so, somehow.
Something just disconnected from your PC. It made the USB unplugged noise.
Oh, it'll be the camera that we're not using.
Nice. Right, so we've missed a lot.
Yeah, we've been about a month, and we will get more regular, but that's...
I mean, let's be honest, there's one thing that caused us to get back together for a podcast, and it's Peter Molyneux.
Are we going to start with Molyneux?
We're
really starting with Molyneux.
Because we always pick on him, because he likes to big himself up a bit. It's probably the nice way of putting it. He's an egotistical bullshitter, usually.
I'm sorry, I'm sticking with my definition. He has a disease known as the Molyneux, which is literally a complete lack of that filter between what you are thinking and what you are fucking saying.
Yeah, I think loads of people have said it in the past. He needs media training, and he needs somebody to handle PR.
Yeah.
Somebody that sits between him and the public. But, I mean, all of this stems from the fact that Goddess is pretty much not being developed anymore.
Well, yeah, it's not being developed. What actually rooted it is that Goddess is not being developed anymore, but he was out doing PR spiel for his next game.
Yeah.
So he started doing PR spin for The Trial, which is the next game that 22 Cans are working on. And people started asking the question, well, what about the game that people have already paid for that is yet to be feature complete and is yet to actually see the light of day on half of the platforms that it's guaranteed on?
Yeah. I've actually enjoyed playing it, though. It's been a reasonably fun game so far. But that whole multiplayer element isn't there yet.
Yes.
And to say that the guy who won the life-changing experience, who they forgot to get in touch with.
Yeah, that was a bit of a bad situation. So it's not that they didn't forget to get in contact with him. They did get in contact with him. They invited him to a pub to have a meal with Molyneux, who didn't turn up.
Fantastic.
They gave him a tour of the office, where he was just basically shown around quickly and then left to his own devices for half a day. And then the following day he was sat in front of a computer for 5 hours and told, play Goddess in its current state and give us your opinion. There was then a couple of emails between the person that was handling the communication with the God of Gods.
Yeah.
And then the guy that was doing that left. And nobody thought to check that of all the tasks that he had, communication with this guy that had won the life-changing event.
Yeah, they just stopped talking, really, didn't they?
And 2 years later, when people are asking questions about Goddess, only then did somebody at 22 Cans realise, oh shit, we haven't spoken to this guy in 2 years, and they only realised that because Eurogamer found him and interviewed him and he said, yes, I haven't heard a damn thing from them in 2 years.
Yeah. But was it Jim Sterling that did the interview?
I don't know. Jim Sterling hasn't done anything. Basically,
who did the interview with him?
Rock, Paper, Shotgun writer. There's been a few interviews. Yeah,
there was this long, kind of candid interview. Yeah. Absolutely everything was published. He didn't really put anything to frame it. It was just, this is the conversation I had with Peter Molyneux.
Yeah.
And what kind of transpired?
Well, it was a bit weird because there was a normal interview before the Rock, Paper, Shotgun one. And the Rock, Paper, Shotgun one, it was brutal. It really was. It opened with the line, and this sticks at me a little bit. It opened with the line of, so Peter, would you say that you are a pathological liar?
Yeah, he didn't mince his words at all.
He was going out. He was writing a Bait the Dragon interview. He was deliberately going out to.
He had his agenda, didn't he?
He had an
He didn't
agenda.
want to go the friendly way. He wanted to go the.
It's fair play. Molyneux should have been treated like that a long time ago. Not quite as brutally as the Rock Paper Shotgun guys did it. What was said needed to be said. Peter needed to be confronted with. Yeah. Molyneux needed to be confronted with the thoughts of the general gaming public.
I don't know about you. Did you get this? I mean, the impression I got of Peter Molyneux is that he's genuine. He doesn't mean to piss people off. He doesn't mean to let people down. He's a bit disappointed himself when he does let people down, but ultimately what it comes down to is he has an idea. It seems like a good idea. He thinks he can make money from it. He doesn't kind of sit and do the maths and work out if it's feasible. He just spouts it out and then gauges the feedback and uses that to move forward. The problem is he spouts out everything, every single little thought, anything that enters his brain.
Yeah, some of the
comes out.
People I've worked with in the past have said, as his development team, that they've watched interviews with him about games where he's promised features and they've sat back and gone, holy shit, that was supposed to be in the game. He's promised that now, we better fucking make it. But it's...
He just keeps talking.
Like he has to fill a void. You've got to enjoy a man who has passion, and I give him his due. He has a lot of passion,
and he is. Let's be honest, he's talented.
Yeah, and he's talented, and he's got good ideas. But after this long in the industry, the fact that he's been allowed to get away with what he gets away with. I mean, anybody who's really into their games will know that Molyneux just talks shite. Everyone will know to take Molyneux's words with not just a pinch, but an entire fucking bucket of salt.
Well, it's the fact that they even reference Black and White 2 in that article.
Yeah.
And that, the massive amount of hype and all the people that waited for it, and it ultimately didn't live up to expectations. But go back and play Black and White 2.
It was still a
very good game, but nothing ever lives up to the hype if you build it up in your head.
Well, no,
it's like reading the book first.
It's all... Again, it's not as much hype as what was promised. The hype is one thing. It's the fact that Molyneux comes out and promises these things. So, Fable 2, you were supposed to be able to plant a tree anywhere in the world and watch it grow in real time across your game world as it evolved and continued. When your hero died, your hero could have children, so that when your hero died, you would be able to continue your quest as your offspring, and you would be able to have a home that grew over time. What eventually came out is you would be able to have children in the game, and one of them would eventually grow up to be about 8, and any kid that you had after that would never get out of infancy. You could plant an oak tree in any one of 3 positions around the world, and it would grow via a cutscene where the world would progress. And shit like that.
Yeah, this is... I mean, technically, you didn't lie. You had offspring. You had a tree that grew. What more do you want? He has grandiose ideas that you can't always actually do.
Yeah.
It's one of those, wouldn't it be cool if... Except for he doesn't kind of start that statement with, wouldn't it be cool if? He says, we are going to.
Yeah.
And it just
backs
backfires
himself into corners. I don't mind the man's passion. He just needs to be...
I can't believe I'm defending Peter Molyneux.
But he needs to be stopped
like
from going in front.
It's a disease. It's the Molyneux.
Yeah.
And you can't be angry at someone who is medically ill.
Yeah.
I mean, he suffers from a severe case of the Molyneux.
Yeah. It's...
the only known case of the Molyneux.
No, because Belinsky's got it.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Belinsky's got it from time to time.
Yeah.
There are others. Belinsky... who's the other one that
That's
had it recently?
Blazinski, I think, is his actual name.
Belinsky.
Yeah, but it gets... It's like Cumberbatch or whatever he's called. Everyone just makes up the name.
Cabbage Patch. Yeah. But the Rock Paper Shotgun interview. So, yeah, he had a bit of a bad time. And the first interview before Rock Paper Shotgun got to him, he just did he did his dog and pony show of the apologetic Molyneux. It's an annoyance at the cycle. So he comes out, makes these grandiose statements, and then immediately releases the game, and then 3 months down the line, there'll be I acknowledge that last game was a bit bad. It's all on me. It's all my bad. But my next game will be so much better. I will fix all of the things that... And then the cycle continues.
I'll admit, I've downloaded Populous. I've never played it. It's about time I play it, and I'll find out if it is just hype or if it's actually a good game.
And it's the fact that it goes in cycles, and every time he's learning from his mistakes, and he's apologetic. And the interview before Rock Paper Shotgun got to him over Goddess actually had a lot of similar questions, nowhere near as harshly worded and nowhere near as blunt.
More like an actual interview.
More like a standard interview. And every question was answered with, yes, I acknowledge that this is all on me, but in the trial. And it was PR spin for the next game. One of the other interesting interviews that not as many people will have read is find his recent interview in The Guardian.
Ooh. Didn't see that.
Yeah. It was actually done just after the Rock Paper Shotgun one, in which there was the discussion about the fact that he'd said in the interview previous to Rock Paper Shotgun that he wasn't talking to the press anymore, and then went on to do 3 further interviews. Again, not really thinking about what he's saying.
He's playing the sympathetic card. Oh, give me sympathy. That's who he is.
But the Guardian one was, again, it wasn't as brutal, it wasn't as blunt, but it did ask what needed to be asked. But you could tell from the answers you were getting out of Molyneux, that Rock Paper Shotgun interview broke him.
I think he was sick of it by that point, wasn't he? He was just...
It reads like the words of a broken man.
Well, you felt sorry for him.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, it could just be that he's quite a charming bloke.
I just don't know.
I'd love to actually meet him. I never have. I've got these opinions of him, having never met him, just based on his PR, his hype, everything he spouts in the media, despite not embracing the media, apparently. I'd love to know what he's like.
He's now going around with a statement of he will step back and not do press about anything.
Just hire a PR person. That's all he needs.
And that's it. You want to talk about your game? Okay, yeah, fine. You want to build Goddess? Fine. Let the Goddess developers talk. You sit in your corner and you design, and let them wheel you out for press events when they feel they're happy for you to be wheeled out for press events.
There should be one rule. Ask the developers first. Because clearly you can see some of the ideas are off the cuff, kind of, wouldn't it be great if we could do this? But he says that to the press, which doesn't come across as wouldn't it be great, it comes across as we're going to. If you'd ask a developer first, is this possible? If they say, it's tricky, I wouldn't tell anyone about it. That's when you hold back and you just say,
But yeah,
he's going to be a kid that's 8.
It's the constant promising for things that he can't deliver. It's the constant apologising while not meaning it. I think you thought it was Jim Sterling that did it. Jim Sterling had the best comment about Molyneux. The best one single tweet summed it all up. At this point, if Molyneux told me the sky was blue, I'd stick my fucking head out the window and check.
Yeah, valid point. Yeah, you just can't trust him, can you? But he's that lovable scamp now.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't trust a word he says, but you're still kind of excited about the next game he makes.
Really?
It's true.
I didn't actually get that. I don't remember getting that spun up about Goddess. I immediately saw that I didn't think that he'd ever be able to deliver anything near what he was promising.
I thought Goddess looked good, and to be fair, it plays quite well. It's quite addictive just to sit, and I don't know why. I think this is where the whole, the cube.
Yeah.
They got people to mindlessly poke at a cube. They thought, well, fuck it, if we can get people to do this, Goddess is going to be fine.
Yeah.
And that's it. Goddess, you are endlessly poking at the screen, getting it to do what you want it to do.
But yeah, the other thing he's got to do in this whole situation, the other thing that he's done wrong in this entire situation is moving on from a project before it's finished. Now, in a normal development cycle, that would be fine.
It's fine now, but ultimately he's got to prove that it's still being worked on.
Well,
and I'm not sure there's any.
It's kind of that annoying thing. It's not fine in my eyes because the difference is any other project he can move on from it whenever he wants because he's funding it. Kickstarter funded game, the gamers have already paid for their product.
Yeah,
you have not delivered the product that you were promising.
We don't know if he's hired an extra team to start this new.
He hasn't.
Well, ultimately, we didn't know when he announced said
we
new
did.
project. We didn't. We had no idea if he'd hired new people to carry on or if it's a subset.
We did because
of
one of the developers of Goddess went straight to the Steam forums and went, "Yeah, our development team has been cutting." What didn't help in his favour was that the now I'm not sure if he's lead developer or one of the high up developers. Was somebody who played one of the early versions of Goddess, was so pissed off about it.
He pushed for a job, didn't he?
Contacted them, worked with 22 Cans for free for 6 months, then got hired onto the team, and is now pretty much gone on record as going, look, the state that we're in, some of this stuff is going to have to be cut because there is no way we can get this in without a full code rewrite.
And then Molyneux saying, no, he joined long before that.
Yeah.
Didn't, when did you join? Oh, yeah, that's actually, yeah. The mid-interview conversation he has is fantastic.
Yeah.
Anyway, shall we move on from Peter Molyneux? Because, you got more? More?
No, it is the Kickstarter part that's got me most annoyed about this. Because Kickstarter means that people have paid for the full thing. And aside from the game, they have come out and said there are certain Kickstarter pledge rewards that they will not be able to honour.
Yeah.
Physical rewards, and other various bits.
I've no idea how I actually got Goddess.
Yeah.
Because I've got it installed on my PC, but I don't know where it came from.
Yeah.
Could I have bought it? It's still beta, isn't it? It's not actually finished.
It's early access.
Right. So I've probably paid for it on Steam in a moment of drunkenness. Fuck.
But the whole Kickstarter thing, this is where it comes into me, and I want to know, and I can't find anywhere the fact that they've actually stated they will not honour certain backers' rewards means that those backers can actually demand their money back.
And there must be something in the Kickstarter terms, and
yeah, that was it. No, because I did read something, because some of the higher level backers have emailed 22 Cans and said, yeah, we want our money back. And the response that came from 22 Cans, from Molyneux directly, was a list of press and blurb speaking, obviously been and talked to somebody to be explaining why they can't have their money back, that they won't be getting their money back. But if they wanted, they could come to the 22 Cans studios for a studio tour.
Basically, this costs us nothing. Come back. Come see us.
Yeah. There's no confirmation as to whether or not they'd be paying for the travel for them to come see the studio.
Yeah, I'd just say, alright, and buy my train ticket, I'll be there.
It's
bad PR. They're just terrible at looking after Molyneux. Somebody needs to guide him around these conversations.
And on the Kickstarter thing, and his comments on Kickstarter, this is where it gets really bad for me, is during the interviews, he's said that he regrets ever going on Kickstarter because Kickstarter urged him. Well, not Kickstarter didn't urge him, but Kickstarter made him feel it was necessary to overpromise in order to meet that target that they had to have. I'm sorry, the speed with which your Kickstarter was fucking funded was beyond any point.
I thought it was the last few days. It was funny. It didn't reach until towards the end.
I thought
it went well above.
Yeah,
it went well above, but I think it was quite a slow burn to start with. I don't think it was one of the speed. But to be fair, they asked for a lot of money.
Yeah.
But, I mean, his argument at the time was the fact that, ask anyone, well, Kickstarter never gives you enough money to fund the game, then why fucking do it?
Yeah.
Why bother if you know you're not going to have enough money to make the game, so you're ultimately going to disappoint your fans, your core base? And then
But
you're going to ask
he
Mario.
effectively said, I lied on the promises because I needed to hit that target. And he's come back and said he regrets it. Now, the thing is, he said he made that sound like it was what everybody has to do to get their Kickstarter funded.
Yeah, which isn't true.
It's clearly not true from the raft of games that have come out recently from Kickstarter funded campaigns that have done it within or under budget, and others that didn't promise anything extra beyond what they were doing, and then had to add stretch goals. Have you seen the Oatmeal's Kickstarter?
No.
The Oatmeal comic has done a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
They have released a game called Exploding Kittens. It's a card game that is effectively Russian roulette.
Nice.
So basically, you get a deck of cards. You each take 3 cards. All players take 3 cards, and there's a bunch of in the deck. There are X exploding kittens. You draw an exploding kitten, you're out of the game, unless you have a diffuse card, or so you can then diffuse that exploding kitten, and then it continues round. And it's just basically you keep going round until everybody's out. Everybody's either exploded. Well, everybody's out, and everybody else is dead from exploding kittens.
Nice.
And then, some of the other cards are diffuse cards. There's special ability cards so that you can take other people's diffuse cards. So because the diffuse is obviously important, you can get special abilities to take a card from their hand, which is obviously going to be a diffuse one. Yeah. Or see the future cards, where it will allow you to look through the deck
ahead
to find the next exploding kitten and decide what to do with it.
I like Oatmeal.
Yeah, but they've done that. That Kickstarter ended 2 days ago. Or was it yesterday?
Why do you always tell me about Kickstarters after they're finished?
I know.
Everything I would be remotely interested in. It's like, hey, did you see that? Oh, no, you didn't.
I assumed you would have seen it.
I don't really do the internet. Which I know is quite bad because that's my job. But it takes up so much time.
Yeah. The main point of mentioning that one is he went in with no promises. He went in with a reasonable amount and managed to hit that in 9 hours. Yeah.
To be fair, though, the Oatmeal has a following. And I love the fact that it just ridicules.
Within 9 hours, it met its target. Within 2 days, it had tripled its target. At that point, they went, look, we weren't planning any stretch goals, but because you've given us this much money, this perk here, because one of them was for a not safe for work deck, which was going to be half the size of the main card deck.
Yeah.
They just went, right, because you've given us that much money, we can now fund extra printing, so the not safe for work deck will be a full deck size, and we will get off our asses and make more art.
Nice. I think we need this game now.
Yeah.
I've already got Cards Against Humanity. That's a good starting card game. I think Exploding Kittens is next.
I was going to fund it, but I didn't have the spare cash at the time.
Obviously, it'll be a good drinking game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Do we have any other news?
We have other news, but let's go for some of the random stuff, because we did ask people what we should
did.
Yeah,
we did
a long time ago, and these people probably don't care about this stuff anymore.
We've got the duck-sized horse and the horse-sized duck.
Yeah. Go on then.
What would you pick?
Yeah. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck?
For me, it's 100 duck-sized horses.
I'm thinking of the feast afterwards.
Well, it's kind of like chicken wings, isn't it? If you've got 100 duck-sized horses. I'm just thinking I can kick a duck-sized horse, but a horse-sized duck would just kill me in one.
Yeah, but there's 100 of them.
It doesn't matter. I can flail. I would run in. There'd be limbs flying everywhere. I'd be fine.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm weirdly confident about this one. I think I could take on 100 duck-sized horses. A horse-sized duck, that's preposterous, but 100 duck-sized horse, I could do that.
See, I think I'm going to go with a horse-sized duck, mainly because I think I could outrun one of them. They don't waddle very fast.
Fair point. Actually, I'm just thinking as well, a duck doesn't have teeth.
Yeah.
Whereas,
But they do. But a horse-sized duck would have one hell of a fucking.
well,
beak.
that's it. Yeah, it's your head gone in it in one. So I suppose that's a moot point.
It pecks you. You're losing limbs.
Yeah. See, this
But
is my problem.
you-
I mean,
You can outrun it, and I reckon if you got enough speed up, you could run around it. And
it
then
could fucking fly. How have we not thought about this? Right? A horse-sized duck could fly.
yeah.
It would chase you down, and it would eat you.
Well,
It could just fly. No, you couldn't escape it, really. If you run inside a door, it'll just peck the door off because it's a horse-sized fucking duck. Right? Whereas lots of tiny horses couldn't, even 100 of them, they couldn't amass the strength to push down a door.
I suppose.
I'm sticking with 100 horse-sized ducks. Wait, duck-sized horses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my mind did kind of go into the comics territory where Ant-Man is actually stronger when he's tiny.
Yeah, that's just silliness. That's what,
On comics, yeah.
maybe this isn't detailed enough. Are the horses? Do they have the strength of normal horses, but they're little, or are they proportionate to their size? If they are, then that's fine. I can handle 100 of them.
So we stick with comics because there is an interesting story, comic related.
Why not?
Yeah.
It's not like we've got a set menu here, is it?
This is where it tests your internet. That even this must have got through to you. Spider-Man.
And the Sony thing.
Yes. The
This is
Spider-Man.
why I think Sony are doing clever business these days.
Yeah. Spider-Man is back inside the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Mm-hmm.
However, Sony still have Now, I'm not opposed to Sony keeping control of the franchises and licensing out, but I'm worried about that proviso. So, what's happened is that Marvel and Sony have got round the table. We knew this was happening. I'm sure we mentioned it months ago, or I've been talking about it for months anyway.
Yeah, you never shut up about it, really.
And agreed to just basically work together. Put Spider-Man back in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, make them the same, Sony retain the franchise, and Marvel just make the films for them. And that's basically what the agreement is.
Yeah.
So, Spider-Man is going back to Marvel to make the films. There'll be a Marvel director in charge of the next Spider-Man solo film. But he will first appear in a unspecified Marvel current tier film.
There's a mutual agreement that it's actually beneficial for both of them for Spider-Man to cross, because having Spider-Man in an Avengers-like film
is beneficial.
Beneficial to Sony when they launch a Spider-Man film
for a Spider-Man solo film.
Yeah, but they are casting a new Spider-Man.
Yes,
who's going to be younger because they're going back to when he was
in high school.
Which
it's more a case of how and when they'll do it.
What I want to see is geriatric Spider-Man. That would be interesting. What happens when he's old and frail? Is he still zipping around, or is he like? I can't think.
I'm sure there's an Elseworld story, an Elseworld comic where he actually is Ben Parker.
Oh.
I can't remember if that's just something I've thought up along the lines, but I seem to remember there's a time travel story where he basically plays an older Peter Parker, goes back and becomes Ben Parker.
Fair enough. I want to see him like proper old though.
Yeah,
like Zimmer frame. When it becomes a chore, because at that age you want to read the paper, don't you? And if you've got sticky fingers, every page would stick. It'd be a nightmare.
But
I want to see him try and use a computer mouse, because it'd stay with him. You couldn't let go of it. So it's simple things like this that they never address in the films. He can climb walls, he can swing, fine. But can he hold a beer without it sticking to his hand? Can he use a computer mouse? Can he?
You're overlooking some of the fairly glaring omissions anyway. He's great. He's a spider person, but he spends most of his time wearing shoes and gloves. What the fuck is sticking to the wall?
Yeah, fair point. Yeah, that is ridiculous, isn't it?
Has that never dawned on you?
I've never noticed that. I'm usually a stickler for films, I'm the arsehole that sits there and goes, ha, well, that's wrong.
I know.
But yeah.
Nobody who's listening to this will question me on it, because I know that nobody's that finicky. But it has been explained in the comics. But everything's explained in the comics somewhere.
Because it's tiny hairs and they go through the
Yeah.
really thin material is probably what I would say if I was trying to defend my shit choice of putting gloves on a Spider-Man. And yeah.
But he's back, and so the question is which Marvel film he's going to appear in. And they've dated the next solo Spider-Man film, and that's going to be 2017.
Oh.
Yes.
I didn't down for an Avengers film.
So, no, that's the solo film.
Yeah.
So that's the solo Spider-Man film, which means that his appearance in a mainstream Marvel Cinematic Universe film has to come in between now and 2017, which means he's got to either... There's only a handful of options, really. You've got Age of Ultron, which comes out in May, and unless they've already shot a bunch of stuff to splice in...
I love this. I love the thought of them already having a film done.
Yeah.
And just Spider-Man just swings by randomly in the background because they've just edited him in at the last minute.
I think that will happen.
I hope not. Maybe as a teaser at the end of a film.
Well, what I'm thinking... No, I don't think he'll swing through scene, but I reckon somebody somewhere is at the minute going through a random battle scene and adding a spider web somewhere, adding one of his lines hanging off a building somewhere for the observant. If that doesn't happen in Age of Ultron, I will be very, very surprised.
You want a hint, don't you? You want to know that he's... Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's all it takes. That little spider web immediately says Spider-Man is now part of this universe.
Yeah.
You don't have to be any more explicit than that. The other two films that happened before that 2017 deadline is Ant-Man.
I'm sorry, Ant-Man is just...
Yeah.
I don't hold out much hope for Ant-Man.
Oh, I do.
The only reason I have no hope for him is just the fact that he's not as mainstream.
No, but he's not... Yeah. Ant-Man is for the comic fans.
Exactly.
But then so was Guardians.
Yeah, fair point. Right, and I'm not going to be unpopular for saying this, but Guardians of the Galaxy starts out very, very badly.
Yes.
It's a fucking awful film until they get together.
Yeah.
And that is a long way into that film. I mean, literally, I was sat there bored. Purely because it was just sci-fi. It was like generic sci-fi crap until they actually started working as a team and that kind of relationship between all the characters started to develop.
I thought
that's when it got good.
See,
which I know is going to make me unpopular. But
no. I can understand that from a non-comic fan. I mean,
yeah,
I knew all the build-up and I knew all of that stuff. But yeah, that opening segment.
It's not even the opening. It's like half of the film is generic sci-fi.
Really? Because I think that starts breaking apart the moment they get arrested.
No, even then it's still a bit... It gets a bit better.
Because once Rocket and Groot first turn up and they're suddenly the galactic bounty hunters, at that point, that's where you start the characters joined together. You've got
it was just
the embryonic version of them.
There was something about it
that
it felt like special effects over content in the early part of the film.
That really was.
And then in the latter half of the film, it became less about special effects and more about the actual characters. Yeah. And watching Groot kind of grab lots of people and smash them around the room, that was brilliant. Groot, just that stupid grin on his face.
But Ant-Man is for the comic fans, and it's also part of it's part of a pivotal moment for the Marvel Cinematic Universe that people aren't quite grasping onto. In that film, the Ant-Man that's in that film is Scott Lang, not Henry Pym. Henry Pym was the original Ant-Man. Scott Lang is the second Ant-Man. It's a film that includes the passing on of a baton of people behind the costumes. This is something that's going to happen in the Marvel Universe with the main tier characters because contracts are coming to an end.
It's their way of, right, we can't afford him anymore. New person.
Well, that's got to happen eventually.
Yeah.
So Ant-Man is partially a film about getting people used to that concept that other people can take up the mantle of these characters.
Yeah.
But it's also been filmed as a very different film because the Scott Lang Ant-Man character is a very different type of...
Yeah.
He's his origin borders on anti-hero.
Right, just because I've not watched them.
Yeah.
How did they explain Spider-Man suddenly becoming a different human? I never...
They didn't.
They just went, right, new Spider-Man.
Yes,
Right,
they went new Spider-Man and redid the origin, which is where I'm worried that they're going to have to do...
Well, they're doing it again, aren't they, pretty much?
I'm hoping that his appearance in whatever Marvel film it is... In fact, I know what Marvel film it's going to be. We're going to get to that in a second. His appearance in the Marvel film will do exactly what they did with Hulk in Avengers. Oh, here's Banner. You know who he is.
Yeah.
So be it. Fuck the rest of the films off. We don't need his origin again. You know he's the Hulk.
Yeah, job done.
So whoever gets to replace Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man will just be introduced and goes, he's Spider-Man. Whoop!
Nice, yeah, just go with it.
But the only other film that comes out in that window is is Captain America: Civil War. And the moment that film was announced, that's when I started saying Sony and Marvel will get together and talk about it.
Spider-Man's going to appear.
And Spider-Man not just is going to appear, has to appear in that film.
So what's the Civil War focus on then?
Right, the Civil War...
Because I remember a lot of focus on like the Doomsday device and lots of stuff where Spider-Man appeared with Captain America and lots of other people, the Flash and so on.
Considering the Flash is the other is DC, you've got a bit
Not
of
the
a...
Flash. There was some guy that could run fast, I'm sure.
Quicksilver?
I've no idea now.
Yeah, Quicksilver, Marvel.
I used to watch this as a kid on the cartoons. I never had comics because we're in the UK and comics were difficult to come by.
Yeah.
So I used to watch the cartoons, and there was Spider-Man and Captain America, and I can't remember who else. There was some guy that ran very quick, I'm sure.
Probably Quicksilver.
Yeah, I'll just go with that. But it's all about stopping the Red Skull.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not Civil War.
No. I want to see that. Has that happened yet? That should happen.
I'm not sure. I've given you a copy of Civil War.
Right, cool.
You've got
I will
Civil War.
definitely read it.
Yeah. Basically, the Civil War storyline is that superhumans have become... the public don't like them anymore. The public are mistrustful because there's nobody they're accountable to.
Yeah.
So the Civil War is actually a war between the superhumans. Tony Stark on the side of the government and the Superhero Registration Act. Their side is basically, we're fine with superheroes. We just want them to be registered superheroes. We want to know who they are under the mask.
Yeah.
We need to know everything about them so that there is accountability. If somebody goes off and accidentally blows up a city, half a city block, which is what happens in the Civil War comic to kick this all off.
Held accountable for it.
Yeah. And Captain America is opposed to, despite the fact that it's publicly known who he is.
I was going to say, everyone knows who he is because they created him.
Well, aside from that, he comes out publicly all the time and knows and announces who he is. But he doesn't feel that superheroes should be forced to give out that information because it puts them and their families and their significant others in complete danger.
Yeah.
Because how you can't take out that superpowered bulletproof man. Yeah, go kidnap his wife.
Yeah.
And he'll do what you want because he'll want to protect his wife. So that's where the Civil War comes in, and it becomes the battle between those two sides. Where Spider-Man fits in this.
Sorry. So this is pretty much, it's a legislative battle.
Yeah.
This sounds like the least exciting film in the world.
Well, no, because
I'm sure something happens.
They start fighting amongst themselves about this.
Yeah,
so
I've just got this mental image of them in court. It's just like, well, I don't think they should have to.
Yeah, well, basically, Captain America's side decides they don't want to fall in line, goes off and basically continues what they're doing, but they're now illegal. So
they're vigilantes.
Yeah. So Iron Man's side is set to task of basically, your now government-sponsored operatives defend the law, capture them, which means battles between superheroes.
Nice.
Where Spider-Man fits in.
Where's the Hulk in this scenario?
The Hulk at that point is actually off-planet in the comic books, but that's another story altogether.
Right, fair enough. So I'm just thinking the Hulk really is a nice deciding factor here, because I don't think you could rein him in. I don't think you could really stop him.
No, the Hulk doesn't really get involved in this one.
Yeah.
Where Spider-Man fits into this is in Marvel comic books, Spider-Man is the character that has done the most thorough job of protecting his identity in all of Marvel history. And basically, he sides with Iron Man because he agrees with the principles of the Registration Act.
Yeah.
To begin with.
He doesn't defect, does he?
Well, basically, he goes out and publicly unmasks himself as staying on site. Look, you know that I am well within the protection thing. I am unmasking myself.
This is me.
Yeah.
Please don't make me regret this.
Yeah. And then further down the line,
he regrets it.
Switches sides, goes to Cap's side, and basically that character, that point in that comic is the person that you're emphasizing.
There's a lot of
there's the emotional hook on that he believes in the principles of the Registration Act.
Yeah.
But then has to side against its enforcement.
I'm guessing because somebody he loves is put in mortal danger.
No,
what?
It's because of how he's because obviously he's now on the side of the lawmaker, so he's tasked with enforcing the law. So he's there having to fight against people he knows are good people.
A battle of conscience.
Yeah. So he has to appear in that film, basically.
Right, fair enough, yeah.
We've kind of gone on.
It's kind of a key focus, isn't it? Yeah, we've rambled on a lot.
Yeah, I may have got onto Spider-Man. So
how do we get to there from duck-sized horses? I mean, I don't understand the transition. What else do we get? Somebody said they loved us, which...
Yeah, I don't buy that.
No, I think they're drunk.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair...
What does a narwhal use its tusk for?
For being a unicorn of the sea. I mean, what more do you want?
Yeah, it's
what does a unicorn use its tusk for? It doesn't. It just fucking struts around like a unicorn. Narwhals do the same, just underwater.
Right.
Somebody made a reference of a standing desk, and I have to mention, and I'm a bit ashamed of this, I dreamt I had a standing desk the other night. I never remember my dreams, but this one was so vivid, and I had a standing desk, so I was quite happy.
I've just realised, ignore that timestamp on there. We aren't 50 minutes in.
Yeah, well, I guessed as much.
Yeah, but you just wanted to stop me talking about comics, didn't you?
Yeah, a little bit. Well, it's a one-way conversation. Yeah, Spider-Man, he's the guy with the webs, right?
Read Civil War, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
I will, honest, maybe. So, standing desk covered...
You just said you don't read the internet, so at least read a fucking comic.
I have no time. Project Ara.
Yes.
Or, as Mike called it, that new interchangeable Google phone thing.
Yes.
I like Project Ara.
Yeah, I've read very little about it. You actually probably know more about this than I do.
Right, so the principle is you have a skeletal phone that you plug all your components into. So CPU, camera, screen, everything is interchangeable. You can
it's like the pin board stuff you can get for electronics.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. It is a breadboard.
Yeah.
Put whatever you want on it. It's held together with magnets.
Yeah.
Which immediately makes you go, what the fuck? But...
Yeah, solid state memory doesn't have to worry about it anymore.
Well, they're special magnets. No, I'm thinking more of the fact you can accidentally disconnect your CPU.
Ah!
Think about how much... I mean, it takes me these jeans are tighter than they look. I can't get my phone out of my pocket when I try. But basically, it's a special kind of magnet.
Yeah.
I can't remember the special name for it, but you put it in, you flick a switch, it charges it, and suddenly it's really fucking magnetic, and you can't get the things off. So it's a special kind of magnet, and you can put lots of different components in. You can upgrade things.
So basically, there'll be a switch on the top that goes from locked to unlocked,
exactly.
and then all your chips fall out the back.
Exactly. Yeah. Now the problem is, if it is a success, and if it does work as people are proposing, it's the end of mobile phones.
Yes.
Because you would never need to buy another mobile phone. You would buy this
Apart
one
from screen.
because you just have to swap and change the bits you want. Yeah. So it allows you to build a phone that suits what you want. So for example, I have a 720 screen on this. I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think on an Nexus 5. Someone can correct me.
That's pixel doubled. So the 5's
It's not that many, is it? Either way, right?
Yeah, it's a solid screen anyway.
I have a decent screen on there,
Yeah.
right? I never want to go higher than that. I think
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. I actually want a smaller screen. That doesn't help with Project Arrow. But I'm quite happy with the screen I've got there. I never need to go higher. People offering 4K screens, I think you're a fucking joke. Because you don't need a 4K screen on a mobile phone.
You basically stop wasting money developing 4K screens until you can bring the technology cheap enough for me to have a 4K fucking television.
No, better yet, there is a great argument for this, right? Even with this screen, my battery life barely makes it through the day.
Yeah.
Stop investing in screens and superfluous technology, because we're all happy with the iPhone when it launched.
Yep.
Keep the screen size the same and give me a better battery. I'm sick to death of my phone dying on me. And I know Sony invested in better batteries, and they're going down the freaking pan.
Yeah.
It annoys the hell out of me. Anyway, so I could keep my screen and update the bits behind it to keep a decent interface, keep everything running smoothly and so on. So that really, you never need to upgrade a full phone. You just upgrade the bit you want. My only gripe with this is it's lumpy. I know this sounds really daft. It doesn't have a smooth back on it. Each component sticks out a bit. Right? Now,
unless they put a back shell on it.
Yeah, they'd have to put something on it. But I'm not too fussed about the lumpiness, other than the fact that every morning I have to pick pocket fluff out of tiny crannies in my phone.
Well, what I'm thinking is if they go with that, now that I remember what you're talking about, because I have seen this in the past as a concept.
Yeah. It was called something else before, and then Google bought it out. And
if they do that, it will be in an outer shell. So you'll pop the back off.
Yeah.
That will allow you to get in to change the components. Then you pop the back on.
I mean, bear in mind this is going to be a thick phone.
Yeah, it's not going to be. It's not going to be a slimline.
There is no way this can be as slimline as a normal phone because it hasn't got the efficiencies that you get from integrating everything bespoke. But I don't see why it would ever be thicker than a phone with a case on it.
No.
And everyone puts a case on the phone. If your entire phone is wrapped in this special case, then you just replace that when it breaks. Basically, it's going to be a phone with a built-in case.
Yeah.
So
I like the concept. I just don't think it will ever work.
I think it will, purely because it has Google's backing. They have enough money to throw at it.
I'm worried from the software angle. This is something that most people don't think about.
Granted, yeah.
The software angle is, how the hell do you optimize for a device that you can't guarantee the hardware of?
5 different processors, 10 different levels of memory, different GPUs.
5 different processors. You're thinking small. If this becomes the way that phones are, and you have this breadboard central cell, and chips are your.
You've got to bear in mind, chips are only made by the company that released this phone, so Google would limit what you could put on it. It's a third-party interface, so they've made
at which point
connection.
the entire thing's going to fail, because unless you open up the market, there's going to be no market for it.
No, there's still a market for it if it's cheaper than a normal phone, because you can customise it to what you want. Yeah,
it won't be. There's no way they can make a customisable phone that will be able to be produced cheaper.
I actually mentioned crannies on my post.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't realise that.
Yeah, there is no way you will be able to produce a customisable phone that is cheaper than a mass-producible thing. And basically, if Google managed to get that off the ground somehow, all that would happen is LG, Sony, somebody else would just start churning these fuckers out for free.
Yeah.
They would basically kill that where it lies.
I think it has scope. Honestly, I reckon it can succeed, but it has to be more like a...
But it has to, for it to succeed, it has to open platform it, and it has to open up the chipset, at which point the software issue comes back into play.
I'm thinking more, right, we're looking at this from a current perspective. So the way the contracts work now, you get a 2-year contract on your phone. Right, imagine you sign into a contract with your phone, but after a year, they said we'll upgrade it.
Yeah.
It's a different way of selling. So your phone is always up to date. It's the most up-to-date version of your phone. They will constantly update the parts inside to keep it fast for you. That's not how it works currently. Currently, you get a phone and you have your phone for 2 years, and then you get a new phone. You have that phone for 2 years. And I think it works purely. I mean, I can use a bit of work knowledge here. The Ofcom report recently in the UK is that 24-month contracts are dwindling. They're actually minimising because people don't want to be locked in for that long. They want to be able to chop and change. This phone makes a 24-month contract feasible, cheap.
Yes.
Because the reason for 24 months is that it's cheaper.
Yeah.
So you could have a cheaper contract and still have an up-to-date phone. Because you could just work that into the contract.
Yeah.
It kind of works.
There are a lot of problems with it in my mind. I mean, in order for the componentized nature of it to work as a financial business model, they have to open source it and allow multiple producers of these chipsets.
Yeah, that to me they can't do because of the reasons you're stating. Is that
that kills the software. I mean, it doesn't completely kill it because it's Google that are planning it, and they've got Android, which is an open source platform and is already proven viable across many platforms.
Yeah, but let's be honest, they released Lollipop a fair while ago now.
And it killed my fucking Nexus 7.
The majority of phones don't have it still.
Yeah.
That's the issue you face. You're going to have lots of segmentation onto different platforms because they can't update and keep up. Which just isn't good.
Yeah, it's already got its problems in the Android, but they basically they know it's a problem, and if they're planning on bringing out the hardware, no doubt they are thinking of that problem with the hardware in mind as well. So maybe there's a future there.
I love the thought that I can get a cheap Chinese knockoff. Because let's be honest, you can get a knockoff of anything.
Yeah, the curve format, keeping it real fake.
Exactly, yeah. So I'd like the thought that I'll be able to get a knockoff Chinese processor. It's exactly the same chippery behind it, but it's come out of a different factory.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's in order to be viable, they've got to open source it. Open source the hardware, which brings the software into problem. If they don't open source the hardware, they're never going to rival the companies that are making integrated single units because they will be able to mass produce them and churn them out cheaper. Yeah,
the cost is going to be higher. That's the thing. It is going to be higher to churn these out. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Other than dust in the crannies, it's got other issues.
And I'm going to stick Mike's other question in there. Should breweries stop making flavoured beers? No.
Yeah. They taste nice. Who cares?
Because if they'd stop making flavoured beers, I wouldn't have Poacher's Choice anymore.
Right, well, I'm still not sure if that's a flavoured beer or if it's a beer that's brewed to taste like that. I know this sounds weird, but I found a homebrew version of Poacher's Choice on that. I've got desperate, right? Yeah. You can
only realise it's available in Tesco's now.
You mentioned it, but every time I go in, it's not there.
The main Tesco's
probably because of you.
Yeah, I do go in there quite a lot.
So Poacher's Choice is a lovely, lovely beer, but you can only get it in certain places. Tesco's apparently, but I never see it. But I found a homebrew version of it, and there was no mention of added flavours. It was literally just the way it was brewed.
But it's got elderberries in it. So.
Well, yeah, I'm not 100% sure, I'll be honest, right?
Yeah.
But this thing, all I'm saying is, Paddy, we can make our own fucking Poacher's Choice.
Yeah, I am getting that. That is being vetoed into the back of my brain just to allow me to continue.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we would be trying to brew it now. But
yes, Mike, they should be allowed. And I've seen you drink lager, so you shouldn't be allowed to comment on these things.
Ooh, that's a bit harsh.
That's an insult, isn't it?
Yeah, that's not nice.
I've watched him drink lager. He drinks lager. It's disgusting bastard.
Yeah. Sorry, I want to go back to this standing desk thing. There are no benefits of a standing desk.
There's lots of benefits to a standing desk. If we're going to go down this route, if you're really going to drag this out, right?
I want to know what the benefits of a standing desk are and sell me on a standing desk.
Basically, your life will be massively improved from having a standing desk. I don't know the percentages, but you are much more likely to develop cancer by sitting down. There was an infographic that came out called Sitting is Killing You, and I'm not saying sitting is killing you, but when you stand up, you have a better posture.
Yeah.
That's just a fact. You're generally a bit more. Not only that, when you stand up, you're more awake. They're the two things that get me, because I have terrible posture, because I spend all day over a PC, and throughout the day my eyes get more strained.
Yeah.
So I lean closer to the screen, and eventually I'm pretty much nose to nose with a PC screen. But energy. After lunch, I fall asleep in my chair. You can't do that if you stood up. If you fall asleep stood up, well done. I wish we had a camera for that. I can foresee having better energy, because I go for a walk.
I understand that logic.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how you get from the situation where you are now to generally using a standing desk, because your strength is
you would
not...
be in tears after a week. Yeah. This is what I tried to argue whilst I was working with Claire, who raised this issue, is the fact it's not about standing all day long.
Yeah.
You just have a bar stool.
Yeah.
And you can sit on your bar stool when you're tired and then go back to your feet when you're not. It's not that big an issue. These sit-stand desks, I think, are ridiculous.
Yeah, I've seen the converting desks.
Yeah, they have a little electronic switch that you press and the desk slowly raises up. The problem is, it slowly raises up.
See,
it takes 5 minutes to get from there to there.
I didn't know you could get them with mechanics in them. I've only ever seen the crank ones.
No, well, what I want to have... Right, bear with me.
Yeah.
I'm not an engineer, and I'm sure this is wrong, but when you get off your chair...
Yeah.
You're taking energy away.
Yeah.
So if you had a desk that basically had weights on it that kept it up,
yeah,
as you would counterbalance that with your seat if your seat was attached to this desk. As you stood up, the desk could rise up with you.
You're basically asking for a hydraulic-based desk where your seat is a piston.
Exactly. You're keeping it down. The moment you get up, it goes up. Why do you need any of this nonsense of being able to crank it or press a button?
You would need your seat would only be able to be in a single position. That would be the downfall.
Yeah, not only that, but the desk, PC screens, and anything else it holds would have to weigh less than you.
No, because you can change the diameter of the tube, and you change basically you put a nice thick piston on the seat and put a low, then the pressure equalises itself.
So, no. Yeah, actually, yeah, sorry, yeah, I'm thinking this wrong, yeah. So you press it feeds in from the top and pushes it down.
Yeah. And
you come off and it comes up, yeah. I was actually thinking of a more manual way of literally some weights dangling off a desk.
No, I'm thinking...
That counterbalance me.
I'm thinking a full hydraulic piston system. You sit on the seat, that immediately presses this piston... two smaller diameter pistons there, which obviously means that
I've gone the cheap route, you've gone the more expensive route.
Well, I've gone the more viable route.
No, it works with just a counterweight.
And how do you trigger that counterweight into your chair? Either way,
it has to be attached to this, and it can't be adjustable.
Yeah. Either way, your chair has to be in a specific position.
It can be adjustable. It can definitely be adjustable. I'm not going to give this away. I'm going to patent this. Right? I'm going to release the standing desk that lifts up when you lift off. The problem I've got is that I can't think of a way to slow it down because I'm not an engineer, and I would stand up and my PC would fly. It would basically become a catapult. I would stand up and my laptop or desktop or whatever would end up on the desk behind me.
At least with my hydraulic version, there'd be an equalisation.
Yeah, the air would have to take its time to come through. And either way, I think you can get a manual standing desk that uses your body weight to keep it down. And I think that is the future.
I'm still not sold on that on standing desk, mainly because I'm a lazy bastard.
Yeah, I like the idea.
I don't want to. I like the idea. I like the concept. I understand.
I spend my time just about to walk away from my desk.
Yeah,
right. I know this sounds odd, but Everyone's done this. It's where you stand up and you go, right, I'm going to walk. Oh, it's an email. I'll just respond.
Yeah.
And then you're 5 minutes in, you realise you stood there.
Yeah.
You actually stood arched over typing an email.
And you sit back down.
And then
everybody looks at you like you're a fucking weirdo because you've just stood up for 5 minutes to answer your emails and then sat back down.
Yeah. I've made a point now of just kind of, if I get to that point, I go, fuck it, I'm going to lock it and walk away. Just go somewhere else. And then I come back and then answer the email. I'll admit I stand in a corner for a minute just to avoid coming back too soon. But yeah, look for the spike on the thing, and that's when you know when we're back.
Yeah. Well, I'll edit this later. Anyway, to think the podcast used to last 2 hours.
Yeah, that's quite bad, isn't it?
Yeah. What the fuck did we used to talk about?
To be fair, we haven't covered gaming news yet.
Yeah. Well, no, it's
I don't think we're going to, are we?
There's not much. The first bit of gaming news that we definitely have to cover is Spotify.
Spotify and Sony. Yeah. Sony making another awesome partnership.
Yeah. Sony have basically kiboshed their entire Sony Unlimited Music Unlimited project, which was, quite frankly, shite.
Yep.
The only time anybody ever really used it
was free.
Was when we were all given it free for 6 months as part of a payoff for the Sony hack.
Yeah. I didn't use it.
Did
I'll
you
be
not?
honest, no. I really...
You probably still have 6 months worth of free.
Yeah, I couldn't care less because ultimately I use Spotify.
Yeah.
And by giving me something that costs them nothing...
Yeah.
I understand it from the other side of you. I just think this has cost you nothing. Whereas all of my private data has been thrown across the web. Cheers, Sony. Out of spite, I think.
Yeah.
I've just refused to use it. Which is probably really bad.
Yeah. It wasn't great because it only had access to Sony Music.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, Sony Music's signing roster is quite fucking dismal. Unless you happen to be a 16-year-old girl.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as part of the announcement that Music Unlimited would be going away, they did announce that they had partnered with Spotify, and Spotify will be appearing on all PlayStation consoles and Xperia phones and tablet devices. So to me, that says that it's definitely PS4 and PS3. I'm hoping for PS Vita.
We'll see.
Yeah, there's no confirmation of that yet. The one thing that they have confirmed is that when it comes onto these devices, it will be a background application.
Which means we can listen to good music whilst we play games.
Which means that unlike Music Unlimited, where you have to stay in the Music Unlimited app, you will be able to play your games and replace the soundtrack. Which for me...
is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's about damn time, isn't it, really?
Yeah. It means
to quote Duke Nukem.
It means that I might actually be able to tolerate Burnout Paradise at last.
No, nobody can tolerate Burnout Paradise.
Yeah, the open world.
The open world thing is just no.
I can't think of any game I really want to change the soundtrack in all that much. Maybe GTA.
I want to load up the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater soundtrack in any game ever. Right,
yes.
Tony Hawk's soundtrack was the epitome of
for me,
good soundtracks.
For me, if you're going on the game soundtracks, there is one that beats the Tony Hawk soundtrack. I'm
not sure. I think this is a lie. Carry on.
It's personal taste thing. Yeah. The Brutal Legend soundtrack.
Yeah. All right. Right, fair enough. But Brutal Legend was designed purely for the soundtrack, and they kind of put a game around it.
Yeah, basically, Brutal Legend was a play track that they added a game to.
Yeah. Whereas Tony Hawk's, let's be honest, I mean, back in the day when games had
shit working on a new TPS.
I heard. I wouldn't mind. I walked up to my brother's desk the other day at work, and he was listening to the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater soundtrack. That's what made this come to front of mind. But yeah, it was legendary. And I don't know if this is right. I may have made this up. But Goldfinger Superman.
Yes.
Somebody told me that was made for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
I'm pretty sure that's true.
Well, Superman is a move.
Yeah.
Is it a move? God, I've played too many games. it's a trick you
Yeah.
can perform on a skateboard. So I can kind of believe it, but still, that was a fucking awesome song.
Yeah.
If they made that for Tony Hawk's, they did well.
Yeah, I seem to think... now that you've mentioned it, I seem to remember that being a thing.
I feel like we need to Google it. Right.
Google
You carry on. Pick another story.
Well, the next story is the Nintendo Creator Program, and this is not one that you're going to like. Right, so what we've got is Nintendo have never been fans of Let's Players and YouTube. Nintendo America are. Nintendo America try to be useful and try to be happy, and Nintendo Japan are just twats. So they've always been copyright claiming stuff that's got Nintendo music, Nintendo copyright stuff in it. They've got no real sensible policy. And what they've done is they've tried to make a middle ground and gone, we will work with YouTube here, we will work with YouTube content creators. What we will do is we will give them some of their advertising revenue. In order to get advertising revenue for content that that Nintendo will copyright claim, you have to agree. You have to sign up to the Nintendo YouTube Creator Program. At which point you will be given 40% of any revenue made by that video. If you sign up for you will get it's 40% if you sign up for a single video copyright checked against the Nintendo YouTube Creator Program. 50% if you give over all rights to your channel to Nintendo.
It's like Nintendo don't understand.
Yeah. So this is
how this works.
This is not even taking into account multi-channel networks, so the MCN programs that most big YouTubers are part of. So the majority of YouTubers don't get their money directly from YouTube.
Yeah.
They sign up for MCNs that get much higher rates for their advertising.
Yeah, because it's specific to a certain...
Yeah. And they automatically have to hand over 40% to the MCN. So that at that point, the MCNs are only they're taking 40%, but it's only 40% of a much higher amount than they would have got if they'd stayed solo. Nintendo's cut comes before that.
Yeah, it's just... Right, Nintendo don't get this whole...
Yeah.
It's like Disney only recently got how this kind of thing works. So, I don't know if you know, but...
And then they bought the biggest fucking YouTube MCN in existence.
Yeah, so I don't know if you know, Disney's history with YouTube and so on, they blocked everything.
Yeah.
Like Nintendo did. Until Frozen.
Yeah.
Frozen was launched and it reached, I think it was about number 12 in the charts.
Yeah.
And they started to dwindle. And then Disney relaxed their kind of policy on social media, on YouTube, on other people recreating their work, and Let It Go happened.
Yeah.
So lots of people started singing Let It Go and releasing their videos online, and it jumped to number 1. There are probably none, I'm going to say very few, instances where a film was released, started to come down the charts, and then jumped back up higher than it originally was to number 1. Frozen was that film for them.
Yeah.
And since then, we can't get rid of Frozen now because of that fucking Let It Go song.
Yeah.
So basically, if Disney hadn't relaxed their rules...
Well, no,
we wouldn't have Let It Go.
See, it's kind of... It is a perfect storm of everything happening at the same time, but it's not just Frozen that made them relax their policies. What happened was they were looking into it, and they bought Maker, the biggest multi-channel network, at the same time.
No, Frozen isn't the reason they relaxed their policies. Frozen is a perfect example of why they should have relaxed their policies a long time before.
But the relaxation of the policies came because Maker wrote it into their contract, into their purchase contract, and they paid nearly $1.6 billion for that.
Yeah, and the benefit is that their own films are now grossing higher because of relaxing their thing. And I think Nintendo are going to have to come around to this because Sony and Microsoft aren't as strict.
They are, but they're not to the
same degree.
They are for first-party content. They're not to the same degree as Nintendo. But basically, what's going to kill... This is going to be along the same route as the end of Sega. Because basically, all Nintendo have done at this point is put more roadblocks in the way of YouTube Let's Players. And unfortunately, YouTube Let's Players are very key decision makers as to whether or not somebody is going to buy a game for quite a large proportion of your general gaming public these days.
It's a depressingly large fan base for each of these.
I'm not even opposed to the fan base. There are some very influential people, and people are more tempted to go to...
The reason I say depressingly large is because usually there's a lot of people that do well on YouTube, and it's because they seem to have personality disorders.
Yes.
And it's
frustrating. The number one YouTuber.
PewDiePie?
Yes.
I've never watched a PewDiePie video. I'm the generation just after that became popular.
I have.
So.
He irritates the fuck out of me. I couldn't watch his videos again, but that's not the point.
What was the one Alec put on? I forget his name.
Yeah, I've forgotten his name as well.
Yeah. I've got Daxi in my head, but...
it's Daxi.
Something like that.
Yeah.
We're going to sound like out-of-touch parents here, aren't we? No, it's Daxi. Yeah. Basically, it was entertaining.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's just when you get a lot of people... I mean, there's a lot of YouTubers now, and I'm going off-piste. This isn't just gaming. There's a lot of YouTubers that are all about building a personal brand.
Yeah.
Have you watched the Celebrity Bake Off? I know I'm going well off-piste here. There is Zoe.
No, I haven't. Zoella, that's the one. I heard about this.
Right. Zoella, she's a YouTube star.
Yes.
Fair enough, right? She focuses on makeup and kind of stuff like
Fashion tips, yeah.
Fashion tips. Right, you're bordering on annoying me a bit there because I hate the whole vanity of the internet. I hate selfies. I hate duck face. It annoys the hell out of me.
Yeah.
More so than it should.
Well, but the thing is, she's not aimed at you, so that's kind of a different thing.
That's fine, yeah. But then worse still, she was put on on Bake Off, which is, for anyone outside the UK, is a show where you have to bake.
Yeah.
And you generally make witty comments as you go on, and people laugh at how bad you are at baking. My gripe with her is the fact that
she could actually bake.
No, she treats it like a YouTube channel. Oh, I'm just doing this because blah 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 blah. We don't give a shit, right? Yeah. We don't care if you're on Bake Off. You're there because we want to see you fail, or we want some witty anecdote. Jonathan Ross is on there. He's hilarious. It was funny.
I haven't seen Celebrity Bake Off, so I don't.
Well, basically, she was all right at baking. Fair enough, but she described everything she did like she was trying to teach us how to bake.
She was on
YouTube.
Yeah, she didn't make the disconnect.
Exactly, and that
there are some people that can make that disconnect. There are some people that can make the transition between YouTube and standard TV. PewDiePie irritates me just because of his personality. But I know I'm not his market.
Yeah.
I know I know where I stand. I know I'm not.
I've become an old man. I just think his market now are dicks.
He's kind of fluked out. PewDiePie is as popular as he is because of a quirk of YouTube's system.
All right.
He started his career in Sweden.
Yeah.
Search results are filtered by region. You search in the UK, you will get UK-based content as a higher proportion of your search result. He started his career in Sweden. He then moved to and became the number one YouTuber in Sweden. He then moved to Australia. So all of his Swedish subscribers kept searching for him and kept getting him because it was related videos, whereas his Australian career just started because his Australian searchers were searching, finding him because he was in the region, and also because he had already received X many subscribers. Then he temporarily moved to the UK.
Could we rig this?
Yeah.
If we set up a VPN in Australia, Sweden, we'll just hop around every country.
Yeah. I think we'd need to do a lot of searching. But anyway, over the space of maybe 5 years, he moved from Sweden to Australia, temporary stay in the UK, and then I think there was a temporary stay I seem to remember that. And he's now in America, which means... So as a result, he's now... Wasn't. I don't know if it was ever intentional. I doubt that heavily. But as a result of that,
a fortunate side effect of moving.
Yeah, he's gamed YouTube.
Yeah. Nice. Whereas Zoella is just, she goes and gets lots of stuff from shops.
Yeah.
And says how awesome makeup is.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah, that kind of... Oh, Toe Jam and L.
Yeah.
As somebody who has just installed this on his retro machine, I can appreciate this.
Yep. Toe Jam and Earl is being remade!
What?
Yes, there is a new Toe Jam and Earl game in development.
Fantastic. As long as it plays off Panic in Funkatron and not the original. Did you ever play the original? It wasn't that good.
No.
But Panic in Funkatron was pretty awesome.
There's the new concept art. I will make that a background picture.
The thing is, that looks like concept art from the original.
Yeah.
That doesn't look like they've reworked it. That's just 2D. There's nothing new about that.
It's upright. But this is the question. If they're going to bring back Toe Jam and Earl, would you really want them to do anything new, or would you just want the old ones back?
Granted, yeah.
I've played Abe's Odyssey now. I bought it. I bought the new and tasty remake, and it plays exactly like I remember
It's
it.
just what you wanted.
Yeah, which is all I want. Nothing has changed. It plays exactly like I remember it being.
Fair point. Right, just anyone that's listening to this, do not go back and play the original. Go back and play
Panic and
Funkatron, because that is the best version of the game.
Yeah.
The original wasn't actually that good. How it got a sequel, I don't know, but I'm glad it did.
Yeah. Quick mention, the Americans have gone and fixed their net neutrality stuff.
Have they?
Well, they've got closer to fixing the net neutrality stuff.
I love the fact that, I don't know if you noticed, but all of the industry has been, no, we don't want net neutrality is bad. And then one of them, I can't remember if it was Sprint or who it was, but they came out and realised that, hold up, we could do well out of this.
Yeah.
And they went, net neutrality is good.
Yeah.
And they just jumped out there with kind of like, opposite of the rest of the industry, we think net neutrality is a good idea. And it's pure politics. There's nothing about that. They couldn't give a shit.
Well, the Federal Communication Commission has been meeting for quite some time about what they're going to do regarding net neutrality. And they have finally come to terms and have basically reclassified internet access as a utility, the same
Title 2.
Yeah,
I think that's what they call it.
Yeah, they call it Title 2 categorization, which means it's a utility, which means the providers that ship this thing to your door can have no control over the stuff that's sent over the network. So it's the same as power, water, and other key.
I don't think it helps the whole monopoly thing, does it?
No,
I'm not sure.
It doesn't fix anything as to how it currently is, but it means that phone companies and cable providers cannot do the fast lane stuff that they wanted to put in. The thing that would have destroyed net neutrality. Yeah. Net neutrality is everything that goes over the network is treated the same.
I don't know if you saw as well, but AT&T on the back of Google Fibre have announced that they're doing a gigabit service now.
Yeah.
Which is just pathetic. It's literally there. Oh shit, we should probably pull our finger out now and do something. Oh look, we have fibre to the home. Let's make the most of it. Speaking of fibre to the home, have you heard in this area we can get fibre to the home?
I'm fucking ringing tomorrow, you bastard.
I may work for that company.
I really need a better memory because I would have rang up weeks ago.
You do. I love the amount of backlash we get because everyone else in the country can get this speed. It's like, oh great, yeah, we
triple it.
Can do that. I mean, our network is capable of so much more. It's scary.
Yeah,
I keep trying to. I've got an internal politics thing going. I want a gig.
Yeah,
I want to see a gig all across the network.
I'll take a gig. I'll buy an extra router just to fucking take it.
Well, something that hit me recently. A lot of routers can't handle a gig.
No.
I never realised this. I just assumed because you get a gigabit router, you can get a gigabit internet. But no, a lot of them really can't handle that kind of throughput.
Well, it's more sending it out. It's more what they do with it, because most routers can handle the gigabit in, but unless you cable up for a gigabit as well for the rest of your devices, how is it going to spit out that?
No. I mean, literally. I mean, a cable device. So, for example, I've got the Asus 56U, RT50, something like that. The maximum throughput it can achieve to the outside world is about 700 meg, and that is deemed a fucking good router. There's no commercial router that can do a gigabit.
So there is a bottleneck on the external.
Yeah,
basically. So it can do the gigabit internal network.
Internal, it can do a gigabit, but sending it out,
I never thought about the bottleneck.
Struggles, yeah. I'm still curious to find out what can handle this, but majority of routers. So I googled. I think it was what was it? I can't remember what I googled now. Gigabit routers benchmark, something like that.
Yeah.
Either way, I got this site that did a full, thorough benchmark of all of these routers, and there's some that are pushing 800 to 900 now, so they're practically there. But it's weird that you wouldn't even factor that, because you would just think that the internet is always behind internal routing. You know, you just never factored that.
That's one of the things I need to do once I get, because I will ring KC about the fibre and we'll get it fitted. I need to recable my house.
Yeah,
because it's 100 meg cable at the minute.
Well, to be fair, check your wireless. So my wireless can actually do well over 100 meg.
Oh, mine's G. So.
Oh, that's pretty shit.
Or is it? I can't remember what mine is.
If yours is there's N and there's AC.
Oh, yeah, I've got it's wireless N.
If you've got AC, it goes much higher. So mine goes.
Mine's a similar router to yours. I can't remember what it's got.
Yeah, it's practically the same. I'm sure it'll go higher.
If it's not the same router, it's...
You can go over... I can do better over my wireless than I can do wired, because I've got nothing near to my router that's wired. I think my TV is the most well-connected device in my house, because the router's mounted on the back of it. Otherwise, it'd be useless.
Right. Anyway, so we mentioned that.
Net neutrality. Yeah.
Well, it's up. That's Molyneux. We've talked about Molyneux already. This is bollocks. Need to mention it. Apple, you're a bunch of cunts.
Well, this isn't Apple's fault.
It is.
It's not.
It's a marketing ploy by Apple. Basically, they have created a category called Pay Once and Play. So basically,
this isn't Apple's fault.
It is. Well, it's not
fault.
okay. It's not Apple's fault, but it's Apple monopolising on the industry as it stands.
It doesn't. Right.
It's callous. It's opportunistic.
It's not, right. In my mind,
okay, go on.
The current state of play is that they have games where you just have games, right? Mm-hmm. Which means you can end up buying a game where you end up paying more, which isn't good. A lot of parents don't want that. They don't want their kids to be on a game where they can accidentally add more credits. It happens all the time. You see it in the news, despite the fact that you have to enter a password. Parents clearly are retarded. This is Apple making a statement. These are the games where you only ever have to pay once. There are no microtransactions. You pay for it, you get it, job done.
Apart from the press release announcing this, made out that this was something that Apple had gone out of their way to create.
That's bullshit.
That had specifically talked to key developers to get them into this program, and have, I think, made actual inroads to trademarking / patenting the idea.
Yeah, that is bullshit. That is complete and utter bullshit. Simply categorising games that don't have microtransactions, I think is a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
If they're then making more of it, then, well, they're just dickheads, aren't they?
They are really, really hamming it up as they've done this great thing for everyone. No, you've simply recategorised.
Yeah. It's literally, it's a tag. It's something that says no microtransactions.
Yeah.
That was drunk talk for no microtransactions.
Yeah.
I struggled there. So, Order 1986.
Right. This this one might spiral out of control. We'll try to keep it. I'm not going to say it's going to spiral out of control. I think I know what's going to happen. Basically, the Order 1886. You don't own a PS4. I do, but haven't played it yet.
Right.
So neither of us played it yet. This is completely
we're
unfounded.
We're going off facts.
We're going off general. Well, we're going off a few YouTube Let's Plays now, and the general consensus of the average reviewer.
Yeah.
The Order 1886, which is hyped as one of the games that was supposed to show off the power of the PS4, and it does show off the power, for a full AAA retail price tag, has a running time of, on average, 6 hours.
Yeah.
With no replayability and no multiplayer.
Yep.
People are a bit pissed off about that.
Fair enough. So you're basically paying $10 an hour.
Yeah.
Which is what, about £7, £8 an hour?
Yeah.
This is the problem for me.
Yeah.
Because if you said £8 an hour for an experience that's amazing.
See, this is where it. This is.
I
where
don't know if it is.
This is where
the thing.
This is where it all falls apart. Now, unfortunately, the graphics and the showing off the power of the PS4, yeah, it's managed that.
Yeah.
Potential of the franchise, according to the reviews that I've read, yeah, it's managed that. This game, however,
there goes my wedding ring. Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
This game, however,
not quite there.
No, in fact, it's very low on that score.
Yeah, this is the problem. If you're paying £8 an hour for an awesome...
Yeah.
I've ramped this up. I'm going to say £7.50 an hour.
Yeah.
For an awesome experience, I could probably justify that just.
Yeah.
That's kind of the limit. If it's a semi-alright experience, but the graphics look good, I would tell you where to shove it.
Yeah.
Because graphics
which is what
don't
it's
make
at.
game.
From what I've read of all of the interviews, all of the reviews, basically, it's an alright game.
Yeah.
Story ain't up to much.
Your dog's
basically, it doesn't do anything for the first half of the game.
So it's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy then. It's just a bit...
you really didn't like that first half of the film, didn't you?
It was alright, it was just not quite there.
Yeah. But there's potential in the franchise and potential in... But it's... Yeah. It's the fact that it's averaging about a 6-hour play and it's $60 or 45 quid for us.
It's a lot of money for...
Yeah.
Essentially not much.
The weird thing about this for me is I think back, and this is going to make me sound like a really old bastard.
I think I know where you're going, but carry on.
Mega Drive. I had a Mega Drive. I paid very large amounts for Mega Drive games that had single player storylines that in many cases could be finished in the window of 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
But because we didn't have fuck all else to go to, we would replay them. But that was the only reason we replayed them.
This is the issue for me, is the fact that games originally were about $60, $60, about 40, 50 quid.
Yeah. That
was 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's always been the benchmark for your key titles.
Yeah, but essentially now, 50 quid now versus 50 quid 20 years ago, it's about 30 quid.
Yeah.
So games have come down in price.
Yeah, games have come down in price by virtue of inflation.
Yeah, the problem is that there are now more games.
Yeah.
So previously you had lots of games.
Also, we've got a new generation that are seeing that $60 as worth a lot more than it actually is.
So previously you had a few games that you could play a lot.
Yeah.
Whereas now we have lots of games you can play a little.
Yeah.
So you put more value in each game because you think, I've paid 50 quid for this and I can only play it for 2 hours. Well, screw you.
Yeah.
Play it again. But nobody wants to play it again, they want to move on to the next game.
Yeah.
And it's awkward kind of balance. But to be fair, now games are driven by story rather than gameplay, and I don't know.
The people are complaining about this.
Where'd the dog go?
She's back over there.
Okay.
People are complaining about this because of its running time, and I'm not going to comment purely until I've really actually played it, because I can't comment on the actual gameplay or the story. But that's what what the reviewers are complaining about. The reviewers are complaining that it is a franchise, an idea that doesn't live up to expectations. They don't care about the running time, because the running time is not a factor.
Nobody watches a landmark film and says, well, it didn't last very long, did it?
Well, if you want to use films as an argument for running time, Hobbit.
Yeah. Massive running time, shit.
Yeah.
And you've probably paid $60 for that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's depressing.
Yeah, you've probably
spent more on The Hobbit than I have anything else.
You've probably paid well over $60 to watch Peter Jackson take a giant turd on the fucking Hobbit book.
I think that's the issue. If a game keeps you engaged for 6 hours, it's worth $60. If a film keeps you engaged for 6 hours, it's worth $60. If a film, after 6 hours, you think, my God, what have I done with my life?
Yeah.
That's when you know it's bad.
Yeah.
Unless you're at that point with the order, then it's probably worth the money.
When you're watching the third film in the trilogy out of fucking goddamn...
You're pot committed, basically. You have put all your investment in the previous two films.
I watched the first film and then went to watch the second film thinking, seriously, he can't fuck this up as much as he did the first, and he did.
Yeah.
And at when the third film came out... you had to. Yeah. Well, no, the third film I didn't even go see in the cinema. I waited until I was on a plane and watched it on that. I wasn't giving it any more fucking money.
But still, wasn't the Lego movie brilliant?
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed that.
Exploding Kittens we've mentioned. That's some of the artwork, by the way.
Oh, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's a Taco Cat there.
Yeah.
That does it for me. I don't even understand.
I think...
Evolve, that's an interesting one for me.
Yes.
I'm just curious because I've talked to a few people about it.
Yes.
And what it is and how it plays.
Yeah.
Nobody's quite sure.
Yeah.
So I've had one person say it's amazing and one person say, well, it gets a bit repetitive.
Right. I've seen a few videos on this, varying sides of the equation. Evolve, for those that don't know about it, get from underneath your rocks. You've discovered us, but not evolved. There's something wrong with that scenario.
Let's just assume they all know what evolve is, because it's a safer bet than they've never encountered it.
Yeah. So basically, you've got the two sides. You've got your 4 humans versus your monster. Your monster evolves. And it doesn't matter which side of that equation you are on. There is only one group of those players that is going to be having fun. Because if your monster is playing really well and is being really stealthy, making very little impact in the world around you and being really difficult to hold fun, that monster is having great amounts of fun being a stealthy motherfucker and picking you off slowly. But as hunters, that is boring as fuck.
So I've done nothing. I've seen nothing for the last 20 minutes. But Dave's gone. Wherever he went.
Well, he'll have respawned because obviously. But for the last 20 minutes, you've been hunting this fucking ghost that's just been picking you off.
Yeah.
Because there is from what I've watched, there is 3 stages of evolution for the monster. And there is really no benefit to the monster to even try and engage the engage the hunters before it's reached stage 2.
Yeah.
Preferably stage 3 of its evolution.
It's got to be a big bastard before it attacks you. Yeah. See, that sounds like fun to me.
Yeah. But on the flip side, if you're the monster and you aren't playing stealthily and you try and go on the attack, or you get unlucky and the hunters find you, the hunters are in a fuck of a load of fun because they're taking you down.
Yeah.
But you're not having fun because you're not playing the monster well.
You're getting the shit shot out.
So basically, it is an asynchronous game that basically only one of you can have really much fun with.
You got a learning curve that's a brick wall.
Yeah.
You have to figure out how to actually enjoy the game.
I mean, I love the idea that if you're there playing... Also, I've heard people say that if you're not playing with a group of people don't fucking expect to win.
Yeah.
If you're hunters and you aren't playing with
You've
at least one other person that you know, don't expect a chance.
Yeah.
But that's great for this, because if you're there and you just want to play on your own, you play as Monster for a while.
Yeah. That sounds like good fun to me, actually.
Yeah.
So, sorry, yeah?
Yeah. Right, we're done. I can't think of anything. There's a couple more stories that are in there that not worth arguing about.
The next Battlefield looks good.
The next Battlefield looks good.
Fortunately, it's Battlefield. Actually, sorry, just on the... Have you
Yeah.
seen the reload animations for Battlefield?
No.
Oh, it's fantastic. They've put stupid animations in.
Ah.
So there's one where he pulls the clip out, and then a third hand comes in and hands him another clip. It's like there's loads of spoof animations. They look fantastic. But to be fair, it's a Battlefield game, so it won't work.
Well, we're on Reload. I listen to other podcasts all the time, and somebody mentioned something in one of those podcasts.
Right.
Active reload from Gears of War. Why?
The idea that you have to click to reload optimally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why has no fucker else ripped that off? Because that system was awesome.
Because it's complicated. You think a Call of Duty player, the kind of player that wants to no-scope someone, really cares about reloading responsibly. I mean, it's just silly.
But if you...
You're appealing to an 18-year-old audience.
I don't fucking care. I'm appealing to me. Give me active reload and everything.
Yeah. Bear in mind, right, I'm saying you're appealing to an 18-year-old audience, right? That's the average.
Yeah.
Right?
I know.
Bear in mind, people like us play it.
Yeah.
That means 12-year-olds play it as well.
I don't care about them. They shouldn't be playing it. They don't have to market to them.
Yeah,
Give me active reload.
I liked active reload because it made it a bit more challenging.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I have to remind my player how to do the job he's hired to do...
Well, it didn't make it more challenging. It made it beneficial to actually know what you were fucking doing. Because the gun's still fucking fired if you didn't do the active reload right.
Yeah.
If you did it right, you got benefits.
But I mean, let's be honest, this guy's job was to be a soldier, right? Yeah. The one thing I expect a soldier to be able to do is to reload.
Yeah, well, skilled reload. Anyway, that's just neither here nor there.
Yeah. Sorry,
scanning through these things, there's fuck all. Diablo's getting microtransactions, but not in US and EU.
Good.
That's all that matters. Somebody redid Donkey Kong Amiibos. They've been modified.
People are having fun with those.
Fuck it, I'm done.
Other than that, we're done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. Goodbye. Happy New Year. Happy Chinese New Year. That's like round about now, right?
Oh yeah, it's the year of the goat.
Yeah, why not? And we'll see you probably in another few months.
No, it'll be next month, but I've got to go to Canada first.
Yeah. We are so on it.
Well, we keep saying we'll do it on Skype, and we will at some point.
Yeah, well, once we figure out the whole technology, we have Hangouts. We should be able to do it on Hangouts.
This is that's what I was thinking of next. Right. If we did this on Google Hangouts, would anybody be interested in us announcing that ahead of time so that you could be there and listen to it while we're recording?
Better yet, you could join in.
Yes, that as well.
We may mute you.
Anybody who's listening to this podcast, let us know if you want us to do it on Hangouts. And
Mike or Trevor, if either of you want to.
Well, there's your friend at work.
I was insinuating that nobody's listening.
You forgot about Roy. Don't be
mean
to Roy.
Shit, he messaged me the other day asking how I was, and I really didn't reply. I was busy. Yeah, I should reply.
Roy, he's fine. He's just busy.
I'm still alive, just busy. But yeah, we'll.
I think we really need to end now.
Bye. I'm waving at a microphone.